Sometimes, you see a headline and it's like, whoa, there's got to be more to this story.
Yeah, like the tip of the iceberg thing.
Exactly. Like that whole thing in Hamilton, Ontario. A bunch of Teslas, like 80 of them, got vandalized.
Oh, wow. I didn't hear about that.
Yeah, Constable Trevor McKenna, he just confirmed they're looking into it. But, it makes you wonder, is this just some random thing or is something bigger going on with Tesla? Like a coordinated attack or something?
That's a good question, especially with everything else going on. It's easy to connect those dots. When there's already a sense of unease, these isolated events can feel like part of a bigger pattern.
Right. It's like this vandalism isn't happening in isolation. We've seen this surge in like really aggressive protests
Right.
at Tesla showrooms, charging stations all over the country.
Yeah, and they all seem to be linked to Elon Musk's policies.
Exactly. People are really fired up about his push to like drastically shrink the federal government.
Right, as the head of DOGE.
That's right. The Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE. I mean, it's causing some serious concern about like political unrest.
And what's interesting is how these protests are so direct. It's not just people voicing their opinions. They're actually targeting Tesla, a symbol of Musk's influence.
Totally. And we're not talking peaceful protests here. There have been reports of damage to vehicles, even gunfire at some locations. It's scary stuff.
It's definitely unsettling. And a lot of the anger seems to be rooted in Musk's actions within DOGE, those massive layoffs, program cuts, even the concerns around access to private data.
Oh, yeah, that data thing is a huge concern for people. Makes you wonder, like, where's the line between corporate power and government overreach? It feels blurry sometimes.
Yeah, no kidding. It's a sensitive area for sure. And the intensity of these reactions, while worrying, shows just how strongly people feel about it.
And, the crazy thing is, no one's been hurt, thankfully, but it's still super serious.
For sure.
At least 3 people are facing federal charges for attacking Tesla property. And the organizers behind all this, still a mystery. But analysts like Basil Smikle, they're saying it's a really vocal minority,
Yeah.
frustrated with DOGE's policies. Smikle even said, and I quote, "There's real anger that someone with Musk's wealth is involved in federal governance and is causing financial hardship."
So they're basically taking it out on the company, using Tesla as a way to protest against Musk's political role.
Right. It's like this weird direct link. And it makes you think, if people are this upset, what other pressures are there on Tesla? I mean, this is a company that revolutionized the EV market, one of the most valuable in the world.
It is a fascinating contrast, isn't it? This incredible success story, championing a sustainable future, and then boom, this wave of negativity.
Exactly. So for this deep dive, that's what we're going to look at. The challenges, the threats, all the pressures Tesla's facing right now, so we can understand the bigger picture. What do you say?
Sounds good. Like peeling back the layers, going beyond the headlines.
Okay, let's start with the EV market itself. For a long time, Tesla was basically the only game in town, but now?
Oh, things have changed.
Yeah.
It's a whole different ballgame.
Right. The big automakers, they're not just dipping their toes in the water anymore.
Nope. They're diving in head first.
And they're coming in strong. Volkswagen's ID lineup is getting rave reviews. Ford's Mustang Mach-E is turning heads.
And even though GM's Chevy Bolt had some issues, it's still a contender. It's really competitively priced.
Yeah, they're definitely making it hard for Tesla. What's their biggest advantage? I mean, why are they such a threat now?
Well, they've got something Tesla doesn't. Decades of experience. Think about it. Established supply chains, huge factories, a network of dealerships. That's hard to compete with.
That's true. They're already set up to produce and distribute on a massive scale.
Exactly. And that lets them ramp up their EV productions super quickly. They can get their cars to customers much faster than Tesla.
And it's not just the big names, right? There are also all these new EV startups popping up.
Oh yeah, there are tons of them. And some are really interesting.
Like Rivian, right? They've got Amazon and Ford backing them.
Yep. And they're focused on electric trucks and SUVs, a market Tesla's just getting into.
And they're doing well, right?
Yeah, they found a niche and they're running with it. Then there's Lucid Motors. They're going after the luxury market.
Lucid Air, right? That's their big competitor to the Model S.
Exactly. Impressive range, tons of luxury features. They're not messing around. So yeah, Tesla's got a lot more competition now.
It's a whole new landscape for them. They can't rest on their laurels anymore. They've got to keep innovating to stay ahead.
Absolutely. No more coasting.
Okay, so competition is one thing, but Tesla's also facing a lot more scrutiny from regulators and legal bodies.
Yeah, it comes with the territory. When you're a big player, you're going to attract more attention.
And their autopilot technology is a prime example.
Oh, yeah, that's been a big one.
You know, it was supposed to be this game changer for self-driving cars, but then there were those accidents.
Right, and now the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration,
Yep.
the NHTSA, they're investigating both autopilot and the full self-driving system.
And that could have some serious consequences, right?
Definitely. If they find any flaws, it could damage Tesla's reputation.
Hurt their image as a safety innovator.
Exactly. Plus, there could be recalls, limitations placed on the features, even lawsuits.
It's a lot at stake. And then there are all the environmental regulations, especially in Europe.
Yeah, Europe's really cracking down on emissions. They have some of the strictest standards in the world.
And they keep getting tougher.
Yep. So even though Tesla's all about electric vehicles, they still need to keep up with these regulations. Their manufacturing processes, battery production, everything has to meet these standards.
So it's not just about making electric cars. They've got to do it in the most environmentally friendly way possible.
Exactly. And failing to do so could mean hefty fines.
And that could really impact their competitiveness, especially against companies that are better at navigating these regulations.
Absolutely. It's another hurdle they have to overcome.
And then, of course, there are those controversies surrounding Tesla's workforce, allegations of unsafe working conditions, wage disputes, and, accusations of union busting.
Yeah, those are some serious accusations. And they could do a lot of damage.
Especially to their reputation as an employer.
Definitely. And the National Labor Relations Board, the NLRB, they already ruled against Tesla for unfair labor practices.
That's a big deal. I mean, firing a worker involved in union organizing, that's not a good look.
Not at all. And these kinds of rulings, they create bad press, hurt employee morale, makes it harder to attract top talent.
And it's not just about employees. Consumers are more aware of ethical issues now.
Definitely. If people perceive Tesla as unethical, they might boycott them, hurt their brand in the long run.
And, speaking of reputation, we can't really talk about Tesla without talking about Elon Musk. He's such a polarizing figure.
Yeah, he's either a genius or a reckless billionaire, depending on who you ask.
And that duality, it's at the heart of Tesla's story.
Absolutely. Yeah. Musk's vision and drive, they've been crucial to Tesla's success.
No doubt. But his, let's say, unconventional behavior, it's created a lot of uncertainty.
Especially with his online presence. It's a wild ride.
You never know what he's going to tweet next. One day it's about Tesla stock price. The next day it's about Dogecoin.
And it keeps everyone on edge, investors especially.
For sure. I mean, a single tweet can send the stock soaring or plummeting.
And that kind of volatility, it's not good for long-term investors. They want stability.
You remember that whole SEC thing back in 2018?
Oh, yeah, when he tweeted about taking Tesla private.
Yeah, it got him in a lot of trouble.
And showed the real-world consequences of his online antics. He even had to step down as chairman and pay a hefty fine.
So yeah, his behavior is a big wild card. Makes you wonder if his leadership is ultimately helping or hurting Tesla.
It's a tough question. But one thing's for sure, his personal brand is deeply intertwined with Tesla's image.
Okay, let's talk money. Tesla's profitability has always been this big question mark. Have they finally turned a corner?
Well, they've had some profitable quarters recently, which is a good sign.
Yeah, it shows they can make money. But can they sustain it? That's the big question.
Right. And a lot of it comes down to costs.
Their expenses are huge, right?
It's enormous.
Yeah.
They're investing heavily in battery production, self-driving technology, all these cutting-edge areas.
They are trying to reduce those costs, though, like with their gigafactories and their new battery designs.
Oh, yeah, those are smart moves.
Yeah.
They give Tesla more control over their supply chain and production.
But is it enough?
It's a step in the right direction, but the initial investment is huge, and it takes time to ramp up production. Plus, their competitors, they have the advantage of existing infrastructure.
So they can produce more efficiently and potentially at a lower cost.
Exactly. So Tesla has to constantly innovate, not just with their technology, but also with their production methods.
Makes sense. And then there's the whole global landscape, trade wars, political instability, all that stuff.
Oh, yeah, that's a huge factor, especially for a company like Tesla that operates globally.
I mean, they have that big factory in China, right?
Right. And any instability there or trade tensions with the U.S., it all adds up.
It can mess with their supply chains, force them to adjust prices, create a lot of uncertainty.
Exactly. It's a constant balancing act for them.
Okay, last but not least, let's talk about Tesla's public image.
Oh, yeah, that's a big one. They've got this hardcore fan base, but also a lot of vocal critics.
Right. Their customers are super loyal, but there have been complaints about quality, those safety recalls, and customer service issues.
And those complaints, they can really hurt. especially in a market that's getting more and more competitive.
People have more options now. They don't have to settle for Tesla if they're not happy.
Exactly. And the media loves to focus on these negative stories.
It's like every time there's a recall or a safety issue, it's front page news.
And that shapes public perception.
Yeah.
Makes people hesitant to buy a Tesla,
Yeah.
even if they're interested in EVs.
So it's a double-edged sword. They have this amazing brand, but they're also very vulnerable to negative press.
It's a tightrope walk, for sure.
So, to sum it up, Tesla's facing a lot of pressure. Competition, regulations, Musk's unpredictability, financial challenges, public image issues.
Yeah, it's a lot to juggle.
They've got this amazing vision, but it's not going to be easy to achieve.
No, it won't. The next few years are going to be crucial for them.
It'll be interesting to see how they navigate all these challenges.
Definitely. Will they solidify their position as the leader in EVs, or will they stumble?
It's a question we'll all be watching closely.
For sure. A lot can change in the blink of an eye in this industry.